Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk a little bit in 3.4 about triangles. So a triangle has three angles. I'm going to try to draw a triangle. It's not a very good one, but that's okay. Label it A, B, and C. Those are called vertices. One is a vertex. There are three of them because it's a triangle. And so those are three vertices. We usually label them with A, B, and C, and we would write triangle A, B, C. That's how it's labeled. And then the sides usually go across from the vertex. So this would be side A with a lowercase a, side C with a lowercase c, and side B with a lowercase b. That's traditionally how we label a triangle. Capital letters for the vertices and lowercase letters for the sides. Triangle has three angles and also three sides. The angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if you take the measure of angle A, so we say the measure of angle A plus the measure, plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C, and that's how they write those things sometimes, it's going to equal 180 degrees. Angles are measured in degrees for our purposes. You could just write A plus B plus C equals 180. We know we're talking about those angles. The perimeter of a triangle is you're going to add up the three sides. So perimeter means the distance around. You wanted to put a fence around the triangular area, then you would have to add up how much you need along A plus how much along B and how much you need along C. This is called the perimeter of the triangle. A triangle also has, I'm going to try to draw another triangle a little bit better, a distance called the height. And if you go from one vertex and you drop what's called a perpendicular, so it's this little dotted line I'm trying to draw here that makes a right angle. That right there, that distance is called the height. And usually we use H for height. You could do it from any vertex to get the height. They might be different, but it's just how you orient your triangle. And finally, the area of a triangle, so the area of a triangle, is equal to the base, 1/2 times the base times the height. So that's the formula for the area of a triangle. All right? Usually we just use A for area. Now let's say you have a triangle, and you know two of the angles are 52 degrees and 82 degrees. Well, then you could find the other angle. So the question is, what does that angle measure to be? Well, we know that, let's call it X. Then we know that X plus 52 plus 82 has to equal 180 because the three angles in a triangle add up to 180. We can solve that now. It's a linear equation. We'll combine the 52 and the 82 and get 134. And then subtract the 134 from both sides. We get X equals 46. And we don't know if it's, this is in degrees, so it'd be 46 degrees. All right. You can use a degree symbol. I noticed in the textbook sometimes they write out the word degree and sometimes they use the symbol. All right, we're going to continue on. Okay, let's see what we have here. So this one says the measure of two angles of a triangle are 31 degrees and 128 degrees. Find the measure of the third angle. So it's similar to the last problem we did. We're going to take X, that's the angle we don't know, plus 31 plus 128, and that's going to equal 180 because in any triangle, the three angles have to add up to 180. Okay. Same procedure. We're going to combine the 31 and the 128, so that's going to be 159. And then we'll subtract the 159 from both sides to solve for X. And so we're going to get X equals Let's see, 21, oops, why isn't that writing? X equals, okay, it stopped writing for some reason, and I'm not sure why. X equals 21 degrees. All right, there we go. Now, the next one says the perimeter of a triangular garden is 24 feet. So here's our triangle, and it's a garden. The lengths of two sides are 4 feet and 9 feet. How long is the third side? So we don't know this side. We know two sides are 4 and 9. So the perimeter for a triangle, you're going to add up all three sides. We know the perimeter this time. It's 24. We know one side is 4 and one side is 9 feet. We don't know the other side. Now, perimeter is a linear measurement, so it's going to be measured in feet or inches or miles or something like that. This is an equation we can solve. 24 equals 13 plus c. Subtract the 13 from both sides. It looks like we're going to get that third side to be 11 feet. So you could say something like the third side is 11 feet. You could just write 11 feet. Should put the label on it because we know it's measured in feet. All right. The area of a triangular church window is 90 square meters. Areas are measured in a square measurement. Square meters, square inches, square feet. If you go and buy carpet, it's to cover a floor and it's sold by the square foot, or it could be the square meter, but in this case it's in square meters. The base of the window is 15 meters. What's the window's height? So we want to pull out our area formula for a triangle. 1/2, area equals 1/2 base times height. They tell us the area. The area is 90 square meters. We have the 1/2, that's a constant. They tell us the base is 15. They don't tell us the height. And so we get this equation. So I'm going to write 90 equals 15 over 2 times the height. That's just 1/2 times 15. You can put 15 over 1 if you want. Anyway, we can solve this equation. We want to get rid of the 15 over 2, so we'll multiply by the reciprocal, 2 over 15. And we're going to get the height. Now for me, I would probably say, how many times does 15 go into 90? I think it's 6. And then I would have 2 times 6, which is 12. Now height is going to be a linear measurement, so it's going to be 12 meters. Okay, I think that's all for this page. So we'll go to the next page. Got a little time left. Some triangles that we have are special triangles called right triangles. A right triangle just means that one of the angles is going to measure to be 90 degrees. And that's a square then. It's a right, we call it a right angle. So the two sides are perpendicular to each other. They'll usually mark the right angle with a little square so you know that that's the right angle. Right triangles are very special. But a right angle is equal to 90 degrees. Okay. So if you're trying to find the angles in a triangle and it's a right triangle, you already know one of the angles. Since all three have to add up to 180, the other two angles have to add up to 90. Okay, so one angle of a right triangle measures 56 degrees. What's the measure of the other small angle? Well, if it's a right triangle, then one of them is 90 plus the 56 plus x. You don't have to do it this way, but this is one way you could do it. 180. It might be easier just to say, well, 56 plus x has to equal 90. Now, if you think about that, you already have the 90 degrees, so the other two angles have to add up to 90 degrees. It's probably easier to look at that. All right, so if I subtract the 56, but it would work either way, you're going to get x equals 34. And that's going to be a degree measurement, so 34 degrees. Because you're finding the measure of that angle. All right, we're running out of time, but the measure of one angle of a right triangle is 50 degrees more than the measure of the smallest angle. Now this one's a little bit trickier. We draw a triangle. Sometimes that helps. It's a right triangle. So one of them is 50 more than the other. Now we're talking about the two smaller angles. So let's say that angle is x, then this one is 50 more. So x plus 50. Now here's what I can say. Just like in the last problem, I can say that this angle plus this angle has to equal 90 degrees. Or x plus 50 plus the other x, that has to equal 90 degrees. And then that's an equation we can solve. X plus 50 plus x equals 90 degrees. 2x plus 50 equals 90. If I subtract the 50 from both sides, I get 2x equals 40, and then divide by 2, and so I get x equals 20. That means this angle here is going to be 20 degrees. What about the other angle? Well, it has to be 50 more, so the other angle is going to be 20 plus 50, which is going to be 70 degrees. So your answer would be something like 20 degrees and 70 degrees. Those are the two angles that we didn't know. Okay, I think that's it for that one. And so I'm getting close to the end. There are two more topics to talk about, so that'll be continued on another video. So continue to watch.